Want to save hours of manual data entry and stop chasing receipts? It starts with connecting your bank to QuickBooks Online. I'm Jenny, and in this video, I'll show you how to set up bank feeds the right way so your books stay clean and your transactions flow in automatically. So right now, you are looking at the landing page that most of you see when you log into QuickBooks. Mine looks just a little bit different because I am in the accountant version. And there's also a new version that's floating around out there that is making things complicated right now, but some of you are still in this version. So how we go about connecting our bank accounts. We are going to go to the transaction tab and bank transactions. Right now, this is showing you what it would look like if you have never connected an account or if you don't currently have an account connected to QuickBooks. So the way that we do this from here is we just click on this green Connect Account. And then you need to find your bank. Now, as you can see, there are some choices up here. A lot of banks are in this system, so yours more than likely is. But sometimes it's harder to find them. So my favorite way to do this is to actually put in the URL for your bank. And I'll show you why that's important to do. So I use a local bank. And when I type it in, I'm getting all these options. None of them are the right one. So I'm going to try it a different way. Okay, so now I'm getting some that are actually related to my bank. But if you look at this, some of these have different logins. This one just says the bank, this one says the business. These two are actually correct, but they used to have separate logins for personal and business accounts. So depending on which one you had set up with the bank, you logged in at a different location. So that's why I strongly encourage that you actually type the address into here. I know that this is the right one for sure, so I'm going to just click on this one. And then it's going to ask you for your personal information. I am going to put in my personal information for my business account. And once I do that, it's going to connect directly to my bank, and it's going to give me the options that I have to connect. It does take a little while. It can take a little longer depending on your internet connection. But now you can see that I have multiple different accounts with this bank. So I need to make sure that I pick the correct ones. I only have one business bank account with this particular bank, so I'm just going to select that one account. When I click on it, it gives me this option right here. It says enter account type. Right now, even though I have a spot that I normally record these transactions, I'm actually going to choose this test checking, or I can add a new account. So if I hadn't previously connected this particular account, I'm going to want to make sure that I add a new one unless there's already one in here for it. I am going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to add a new account. This is a bank account. It is a checking account. You want to make sure you choose the right one, and it gives you a little bit of detail here to explain different things. I like to name my bank accounts using the bank and the last four of the bank account number. That way it's easier when you start getting a whole bunch of accounts in there. It can get a little confusing otherwise. But for right now, I'm just going to leave this one checking, and this one's going to be another test account. And I'm going to save and close. Now down here, I want to make sure that I pull things from the right date. So it's really important that you make sure you're not pulling things from a date that you already have information entered and reconciled. So if you have not reconciled anything yet, you are safe to pull from as far back as it will allow you to. My recommendation is the beginning of the account, especially if it is a business only account that you opened for your business. The only time when you wouldn't do that would be if you have done months and months of work manually and you've already reconciled those months, or if you are using an account that used to be a personal account, which I don't recommend. But if you are doing that, you don't want to pull back all of that information. So I'm just going to pretend that for the sake of this test account, I started my business in January. So all of my data that's coming in is going to be starting in January. So I'm just going to go pull information from January 1st to 2025. I'm going to go ahead and connect. Now it's bringing in all the transactions that I have in there from that time period. Since this is my first account that I'm connecting, it is offering to kind of help me. It's talking about where my money is going. It's talking about the different things it sees coming through. I can choose to review my categories, or I can just work on that later. Also from here, if I wanted to link another account that's coming from a different bank or it's a credit card from a different company, I could also click on this link another account option. I'm not going to do that right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this remind me later. That just brought me right back here. Now, if I go into my transactions and my bank transactions, I can see that I now have this account that's up here. It has a whole bunch of transactions in it that I now need to categorize. Before I start doing that, there are a couple things that I need to take a look at. One of those things is I need to check the opening balance, because sometimes what QuickBooks does is if you bring in transactions from the beginning of the year and it's been, well, now we're in September, it's been a long time since that starting date, it will actually pull the current balance and it'll try to make it work. So what we need to do is we need to go to our chart of accounts and we need to look at this account. So here's my checking test account. And if I view my register, you can see that my register has pulled over the opening balance from the bank. And if you see this little R right here, it means this item has been reconciled. If I leave this alone and don't do anything with it, it is going to mess up my reconciliations. If I tried to add all of my transactions in right now and then go and reconcile, this would cause a huge problem. My balance would be off by this amount. So what I need to do is I need to delete this transaction. Generally speaking, when I'm working in books, I don't delete things. I usually void them, but this is one of those instances where something does need to be deleted because otherwise it's going to completely mess up your balance. So it's just giving me this warning saying, hey, you're deleting this. It's been reconciled. Are you sure you want to do it? Yes, I do. That brings my balance back to 0. So this is saying at the beginning of the year, I started this account. It had no money in it. There was no balance. I can go back to my bank feed now. I can categorize and move through my workflow. So let's go back. Transactions, bank transactions. Now I'm going to show you how you would link another account from here. I am seeing this account and I can go ahead and link another account. Again, it's giving me this suggestion because I've already used this one. So if I got another account at the same bank, I would be able to click right here. I, however, do not. I have a credit card. So I'm going to put in the URL for that credit card. So this is actually a really good example of how different things can send you to different places. So Capital One is notorious for this. They will give credit cards to different businesses and they have different logins depending on where they're from. So you can look at all these options, like Kohl's has a Capital One card, Saks Fifth Avenue has a Capital One card, Walmart has a Capital One card, Cabela's, there's a bunch of them here. So we want to make sure we're going to the right one. So what actually happened here is it gave me a pop-up window, and the pop-up window is on a different screen. But I'm going to pull it back over there for my login so I don't have to edit this out. So Capital One is giving me this. It wants me to know what is going to be shared. So I need to hit continue. I'm going to select the accounts that I want to share data from. Again, you need to make sure that you're only sharing data from your business accounts. And this is giving them consent to share that data with QuickBooks. We're again going to kind of do the same thing here. I'm going to create a new account again because I don't want these connected to my original accounts. And this one is a credit card. And you look at the detail type, there's only one in here. Again, kind of use the same naming. You name it, whatever works best for you. And then I'm going to select the date I want to pull transactions from. I'm going to use the same date just for testing purposes. And I'm going to connect my card. I'm connected now. Again, before I do too much in here, I want to make sure that I go in to my chart of accounts again. I'm going to look for my credit card test. I don't see it here, my first one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in my information. This makes finding things a lot easier. If we look at this one, we have the same thing happening here. They pulled the balance at the time and they reconciled it. So again, we're going to make sure we delete this because otherwise it's going to mess up our reconciliations when we get to them. So again, our ending balance is 0. Once your bank is connected, QuickBooks does the heavy lifting. Your transactions come in daily and you're one step closer to organized books and way less stress at tax time. If this video helped you, hit like and subscribe, and check the description for my free checklist to help you stay on top of your monthly bookkeeping tasks. Bonus, connecting your bank is just step 1. Review and categorize your transactions regularly. Automation saves time, but you keep it accurate. Have a great day. Bye.